Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Hey, I'm going to do a very short video today for my Sunday show, which is actually on Sunday today, which is great. My phone's about to die, and I got it kind of plugged in, but it's very wonky. You guys know, you guys have been through this. If you ever had a phone in your life, yes, it's not great. But my phone's at the end of my. Oh, no, it's not a flip phone or a BlackBerry, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty much to the end of its life, and I'm just too lazy to go get another one. But anyhow, happy birthday to Nuno Betancourt, who is, I believe he's 1 year younger than me. So he's probably 58. I think that's it. Yeah. 58. Yeah. So, happy birthday to Nuno. Pretty cool chord selections there. Ninth. And then, a little for good measure, comes from the Pat Travers book of, box of tricks, basically. He was a big Pat Travers fan. And, you know, who isn't? If you haven't listened to Pat Travers, turn this off right now and go listen to Pat Travers. Yes, but anyhow, yeah, happy birthday, Nuno. That's why I play some extreme. But I wanted to talk very quickly because my phone's going to die and it's late and I haven't even got a coffee down here. Actually, I got a cup from this morning. I dare not drink it, even though I love the cold coffee. As you've been following along at home, you might know that. But yeah, so I went to a show. I went to Halestorm on Friday night in Toronto. Um, Took me pretty close to 3.5 hours drive there. And by way of comparison, I had a gig in Midland, Ontario, weekend before. It took me 2.5 hours to get there. So I'm in Toronto, and it took me 3 hours to get there. I don't know. Something's got to be done about the traffic. There, I said it, and nothing's being done about the traffic. So and I can't take the GO train because it doesn't really work well and all that kind of thing. So anyhow, I did miss the beginning of Apocalyptica. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, I've heard so much about this band, and then they blew my mind playing stuff like Four Horsemen on three cellos. Four Horsemen on three cellos. They should call that. Maybe that's the name of their first album. Um, but yeah, it's just incredible that they were getting these tones. Well, I don't know. Does Seymour Duncan make a cello pickup? Because I mean, they sound like JBs in there. It was just a thought. Next up was Lindsey Sterling, who's a solo violin player who got her fame through YouTube and basically social media. Phenomenal artist. To be critical, for an instrumental artist to do almost an hour set um, of violin music, which was progressive, great band, great shredder guitar player she had her with her. A little too long of a set. Got a little boring, but even though she was a phenomenal musician. Halestorm walks on. They were doing. I love Halestorm. I love Lizzie Hale. She's phenomenal. Every song is good. Every song is good. And I'm not a big enough fan to know every song, but every song was good. It was just amazing. It's really interesting though to see a current band, a young band, and compare it to all the classic rock nostalgic shows that I usually go to. Like for instance, I saw Styx and REO Speedwagon this summer. I saw, you know, any number of bands that have been around for a long time, maybe 80s bands. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Def Leppard, all those bands like that. That are obviously close to the end of their career and still rocking it. Then I never really noticed this, but there's some bands can be a little inexperienced live. Hailstorm phenomenal during this show. Better sound would have been better. I couldn't really hear the drums. Uh, Guitars sounded phenomenal when they're doing line checks before their set. I could hear their roadies hitting chords and going, "Wow, this is great." they came on and they lost a lot of that. They lost a lot of that out front. But still, I'm not going to, these are all technical issues that are really not the band's fault. The band was phenomenal. She is just the premier singer out there. But yeah, the whole band lacked a little bit of stage presence, maturity, and just be like pacing, confidence. A lot of dead air. They shouldn't have dead air in the set, and just some changeovers, some equipment changeovers. It just took way too long. Grand piano's coming out, and it took a long time to get that out there. I remember going to see Guns N' Roses, and the grand piano was just there, and then lights go down, it's gone. And just little staging things like that were just missing from the show. But probably one of the best young bands out there. I saw the Struts about a month ago. Another incredible young band that had all the staging stuff together. Halestorm, killer guitar players. And if you're a guitar fan, you didn't see any guitars. Well, you saw Lindsey Sterling had guitarists. But it was the first we look at some guitars, really nice guitars, when Halestorm came on. The Gibson brand very well represented, I would say. Lizzie Hale with her Explorers, and she has a custom Explorer that has the Trini Lopez head on it, and her guitar player was just, I think he played every model of Gibsons, from SGs to Les Pauls to Flying Vs to Firebirds to Explorers himself he played, and I think he has a couple Tullys, and I had Tully and a Strat too, but just to make it even things out, I guess. But yeah, great guitar show at Halestorm. Because I hate the traffic in Toronto, I left a little bit earlier, got out of the theater. Budweiser Stage is probably one of the better places to see a band. I love seeing my summer shows there. They are closing it down and tearing it down and building a whole brand new thing for, probably be unfortunately there'll be an interim period of probably a concert season that we don't have that venue. Probably the worst venue to walk out of, though. Like, the area, 15,000 people right into one area, and one bridge that takes you across the CNE, and then really anybody else just doesn't go over that bridge, is spilling out onto Lakeshore Avenue, where there's no parking, and the GO train is a long walk. So, hope they fix all that when they build the new venue. That's all I hope. And I also hope that a lot of bands that I want to see do not play Rogers Stadium. Though my kids went to see Hosier, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know I'm old and I don't know the artist that well. I saw them at the Rogers Stadium up on Downsview Airport, and they had actually a good experience getting in and out of there, which I haven't heard yet that there has been a good experience. But my daughter said the sound was a little sketch, though. For a big place, the delay stuff didn't really work properly, is what I can figure from her description. But must be my kids if they're complaining about the sound. I complain. Never mind. Anyways, quick show today. Thank you so much for watching. The 300th show is on the horizon. I'm still taking requests. Had a few good ones. Had a few ones that I can't really do. And I guess I can, but only a couple people would care. Some people just want me to talk about my favorite guitars and stuff like that, which I can do. But, I kind of do that already, but I might just do that. But anyways, more suggestions, please, if you would like to, on my 300th show, which is coming up very soon, within a few weeks. I can't count, so I don't remember. I can't give you an exact week where it is. But in the meantime, go out and see your favorite bands again. Go out and see your favorite tribute acts. Go out and see your favorite cover acts. Go out and see your favorite original acts, and support them all. Go support them all. I did see another show this weekend on Saturday night. It was the MJ Broadway show. Even if you don't like Michael Jackson, go see this show. It is phenomenal. It's a touring show, so it probably won't be around much longer. But what a great story. Casting and musicianship was just phenomenal for the behind the scenes guys. MJ, the Michael Jackson, whatever. I don't know. Broadway show. That's what it is. I didn't play live this weekend. Can you tell? Yeah. Anyhow, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with Bridge on Fire as well as Keep the Faith. October will be a very busy month for all live things. I even have a Jacob D'Souza gig coming up in Kitchener, Ontario. If anyone's out that way, I'll get you some details, or you can follow me on Facebook. If you can't find me on Facebook, well, it's kind of a stupid thing to say, because if you're watching me right now, you found me on Facebook, or you're watching me on Instagram. Dards D'Souza, and I may change that by request, because apparently some of the Bon Jovi fans can't find me. Okay. What I've been told. Anyhow, slightly shorter show, and my phone didn't die. Look at that. That's amazing. Shred for us a little more. That's terrible. See you later. Bye.